Welcome back to another episode of Part the Piece. Back in the living room again. We've got Mr. Harry Parker here.
G'day.
Thank you for coming on.
No, thanks for having me.
We've been trying to sort this one out for a bit.
Do this for a long time, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably last year. I think
It's been a while, yeah. I was trying to go for ages, just telling the time. I was like, gotta get around to doing it. So thanks for having me.
No, of course. Give people a bit of an intro to yourself. Obviously, you're at uni now. We play footy together at St. George.
Yeah.
How's life been?
Yeah, so just first year at uni, just at UTS, doing business there. Kind of just going through what I really want to do in life. Not really too sure.
Yeah.
Obviously played footy at St. George and at Swans as well. Been playing footy for the Swans since I was 12. But yeah, just recently at St. George and loving footy there and loving the boys. And just wanted to come on here and talk about a few things and tell kind of everyone what's going on, I guess. So
and you mentioned to me that I guess the main things that we're talking about is like areas of PTSD and like depression. Is that always been in your sphere, or was it one event that kind of triggered it and then it kind of trickled down to something else?
I'd say I've always been quite an anxious person.
Okay, so it started with a bit of anxiety.
But there was an event in 2020 where I was involved in a pretty unlucky skateboarding accident.
Oh, really?
And landed me in hospital for about, at least 6 weeks, 7 weeks. I was in a coma for 5 days.
Fuck.
It was in 2020, March.
Yeah.
April, May 24th it was. May 24th to May 28th. That's what it was, yeah.
Jeez.
It was just at Wanda, then at Green Hills, was riding without a helmet. And don't remember the whole incident. Came off, went pretty far, had a seizure on the spot, and if it wasn't for the lifeguard, it wasn't meant to be there at the time. He was just off patrol, just down there collecting a few things from the warehouse.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for him, because he kind of stabilised me and made sure I didn't, have a full fit, because obviously it cracked my head and bleeding everywhere.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for him, I've been told I probably wouldn't be here, to be honest.
Shit.
Yeah. So I thank my lucky stars that he was there. But winded myself up in hospital and came in for 5 days. ICU for 2 weeks after that, and then was in hospital in and out for the next couple of months really. So it was an interesting time. But
I had no idea.
Yeah, not many people do it because I don't really like to talk about it. Only people really close to me know about it and know about exactly what happened and everything that I went through, and my family, my friends. But it's not something I really like to talk about because it kind of brings it up, I guess. And
that's fair.
It's some of the darkest times of my life, so it was it was interesting. But I'm just thankful to get through it pretty much.
Yeah, and fuck. Holy shit! So did that start a bit of like? From then on, has things been even more difficult, just mental health wise, or is it like been like a shock or something?
I'd say it really took a toll on me because at the time I probably just picked up in form in AFL as well for the Swans. I was just really starting to find my straps as a player, and then obviously after that I was out for pretty much the rest of the year, didn't really play. But even at the time in hospital, like waking up and then you pretty much had to learn how to do everything again. Like how to walk, how to eat food, how to drink water, go to the toilet by myself, how to run, motor skills, all the basic stuff taken for granted. Pretty much had to learn how to do it all again. So as someone being like a really sporty, outgoing, bubbly kid, it was huge. Like it was massive. I couldn't do anything for myself. So I say, that was probably the most devastating thing, just not being able to do anything for myself, kind of just feeling useless. Yeah. And it took a toll on not only me, but my friends and my family as well, because they were just so used to seeing this kid, this, bubbly, energetic, 16, 17-year-old kid. Yeah. And, couldn't do anything for himself anymore. So it was really tough.
You should be super proud of yourself, because now you're back playing footy. Yeah. And you're playing really well.
Yeah.
Wow. And, despite all that, and you're able to just, function naturally.
Exactly, because
you should be super proud, mate.
Oh, thanks, mate. Yeah, that was one of the things, they said, even if he's able to get through all this, that's what the doctors were saying, even if he's able to get through all this, there's still a chance he's going to have, you know, some sort of a cognitive problem or some sort of, you know, functioning problem later on. They were giving all these percentages along with dad, and they were telling me, you know, like, oh, they only gave you like a 15% chance to be 100% the way you were before the accident. And I was like, damn, that's like, it was just crazy to think that I've just, come from there to here, but obviously hasn't been an easy road at all.
No, not at all.
There's been lots of tough times and places where I've never thought I would go to mentally. And but I just look back on it and just say you got to be positive on it. I try to be, not all the time, but I just try to be positive on the whole situation every time I think about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what else can you really do? Find some sort of silver lining from it.
You try to,
Fuck. Did you like, and then so I guess coming out of it, like, did certain things that used to not affect you before start to affect you even more? Like, did you feel like you became even more, maybe like, I won't even say fragile, but I guess like sensitive to certain things?
Yeah, I would say so. You know, I kind of came out of it all with this, just like, life can be taken away from you so quickly. Yeah. And that scared the shit out of me. Yeah. It really did. Like, things that I used to take for granted, I didn't anymore. And it was also like, you know, like going back to, it just scared, like, being able to things that are taken away from you so quickly. Just scared the hell out of me and made me just really anxious about everything that I did. Yeah. Like, just the basic things, walking down the stairs, like, oh, am I going to slip, am I going to fall? Yeah. Or, you know, if I'm going, you know, surfing or like going, doing anything, like, oh, am I going to fall off, am I going to hit my head at this angle? Or even playing footy for so long after, I couldn't put my head over the ball. I just couldn't do it. So am I going to get hit in this spot, or am I going to get hit in this angle, I'm going to get concussed again, or... Yeah, it really played with my head for a long time. And it was kind of really hard to see because like the form in football went down dramatically. Yeah. Everyone was asking what's wrong, not really understood, because they were like, oh, you're fine physically, you know? Yeah. Why aren't you doing this, or why aren't you playing football this way again? Or, you know, when the grades started to slip a bit because I wasn't functioning properly and mentally, they were like, oh, you know, why are you grades slipping? You're fine physically. And it's just, they couldn't really see what was actually going on. Yeah. And it was really tough because I didn't have a straight answer because I didn't even know in myself. It was just something that was happening subconsciously. Yeah. And so it really started, that was kind of when the depression and all that stuff started to kick in, because I didn't even know the answer myself. And then everyone was kind of saying, oh, you know, you're fine physically, you look good, like, you know, you look great, you look normal. Yeah. But they didn't really understand what was truly happening. So that
general assumption caused you to just be like, to internalize things even more.
I'd say
to stress about the fact that you're not performing or just not in the place that you were. Like, was it even like shit, like, oh, you're not putting your head over the ball, like, what are you doing? Stuff like that.
I'd say so. It was kind of just more everyone was comparing me to what I used to be.
Yeah, okay.
Everyone was saying, you know, because before I had the accident, I was playing really good footy. I was you know, I was doing really well in school. I still did well at school in the end, you know, in year 12 and everything, still did really, really well. Yeah. But, you know, I was doing really well. I was always this outgoing social kid, and then kind of after, I was just kind of a completely different person. Everyone was kind of, what's going on? Like, you're fine physically. Yeah. Like, you know, you've all recovered physically, like, you know, and then I just didn't have an answer for them, and that kind of really impacted on me, because I knew in myself I wasn't the same person. I would never be. To this day, I'm not the same person. I still think about it and still, you know, have flashbacks or dreams or that sort of stuff. There's probably not a day that I don't think about it. No. But yeah, that was probably the hardest thing at the time. Just kind of, there was no one who really would understand, kind of thing. Like, I can't really say to them, oh, you know, 7 months on, like, you know, I'm fine physically, but in my head, it just can't go away. Yeah. And it really, really played on me because I wasn't doing things that I want to be doing. Yeah. So it was really, really tough. Wow.
Then you said it was like the lowest part, or like that, where that depression started kicking. Like, what developed from there? Was there, like, what developed from that, you know, depression kicking in?
I would say it really impacted on the people closest to me. Yeah. Like, obviously my family, friends at the time, kind of just pushed everyone away because they didn't really understand. Yeah. And so I kind of left myself really isolated, really, really alone. It wasn't easy because I wanted them to help me. Like
Yeah.
I truly wanted them to help me, but in myself at the time, I just couldn't feel like anyone could
Yeah.
because I didn't understand it, I guess. And when you're constantly thinking about it and constantly having these like flashbacks and all these kind of things going on, and then people saying to you, why can't you, do this, or why can't you just go back to being the old you? And
Oh wow.
it was kind of, it kind of left me just alone. I
Yeah.
kind of just felt really isolated from everyone else.
You're just being held back by everything.
Kind of, yeah. And it was just like, I just couldn't really go to anyone else. And it really led to some really dark thoughts and just like, everything was just getting too much. Like things were just piling on. And, football started to pick up even more and school started to pick up even more. And all these things kind of just piling up. And I couldn't deal with it.
Yeah.
I just couldn't deal with it. And it really led me to a really dark place.
Yeah.
And I'm looking back, I think the only way I really did deal with it is going to go see someone properly.
Yeah.
Like out,
That's
like
good.
going to go see someone from Headspace, which was probably the best thing for me. But yeah, it just really left me in a really dark place. It probably tell by my voice, it's still kind of, I get all emotional talking about it.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, it was a very dark time.
Yeah.
Very dark place, but just kind of happy to be over it, I guess.
Yeah.
Or as much as I can be over it.
The worst part, I guess, you assume, you're either through it and over it. I feel like over the years it's just a learning thing.
Yeah, 100%.
I used to be really like very shaky talking about certain things, and I still am. It just depends what it is.
Yeah.
But then over the years, something just changes. Like you develop, you improve, and certain weight starts to like fall off. Like, have you had those flashbacks a lot? Like this year, like for example. Compared to last year.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I feel like it does decrease every year, every day.
Chips off, yeah.
It does chip off, and the weight does drop off your shoulders.
Yeah.
100%, I agree with that. But yeah, it's just sometimes like when you don't think about it for a bit, and something will trigger it. You're like, oh shit, like there it is again. Like now I'm thinking about it again. Now I can't get it off my mind.
Yeah.
Like even the other day, like I went for my first skateboard with the helmet on, of course.
Yeah.
In a long time. And I was just a pure adrenaline rush. And like I was feeling just so it was an amazing feeling to be skateboarding because I love it. I used to always love it. And I would have never stopped if that didn't happen.
Yeah.
But now so I was kind of skateboarding and the wheels were kind of like buckling a bit and I was like, oh shit. I had to just get off and walk home.
Wow.
And I was like a kilometre and a half walk
Wow,
home.
yeah.
I just couldn't do it. I couldn't go the whole way because I was like, fuck, if I fall again,
Yeah.
Or there's like this one spot where it happened and it's like you can go straight, which is a lot longer to get home, or you can go right where it happened, but it's short to get home. And I couldn't go right.
Yeah.
I had to go straight. It took me like 10 minutes to get home. I had to go straight and couldn't go the way it happened, like where I fell off and everything. I just couldn't go that way. Still can't even walk down there pretty much. It's just like in my head. Yeah, it's just
still a part of you, of
Yeah.
course. Always will be, but that's still progress though.
Yeah, no, 100% it
It's
is.
the fear. You're still facing a feared situation. A part of your past, but you're still able to. You still skateboard for a bit. Like that's.
Yeah.
Like we said, like it's gonna chip away here and there.
No, 100% it is.
You'll find your feet with it. Like you'll come to I reckon message me once you have that moment where you like skateboard the way home or something. Because I'd love to know. Because that stuff is like it's victorious. You think oh it's just this or it's just something small, but like no, like that stuff is traumatic and you're facing it.
Yeah.
Obviously there's no rush, but you'll eventually, like you'll get there.
Yeah, no, I will. But it's been a long grind to get back there. It's been nearly 2 years since it happened. But I think my aunt went through something similar, not anything skateboard related, but she was in a coma as well. And I didn't find out till recently that she had the same kind of experience as me. So she's been amazing to talk to, kind of just bouncing ideas and how we went through similar stuff and how coping mechanisms and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's been amazing to talk to because she'd come in the one I could really understand.
Yeah.
Because everyone, friends and family kind of just were like, oh, you're fine.
Yeah.
You should be okay. but she's been the only one to kind of like be like, you know, it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
And just because you're fine on the outside doesn't mean you're okay on the inside.
Yeah.
So she's been amazing for that.
That's good, because I was going to ask, like, have you found anyone just to help relate to it? Because you can find like heaps of people to relate to in terms of just like anxiety and depression, but for something like an accident and something that's like traumatic, like it's hard to like, you can't just put something out there. Like it's hard to find someone who actually understands.
Yeah, no, it is.
Or who doesn't understand as much as you, to where you're both on the same level. Like, yeah. I mean, in my experience, I had in 2017, I was on my red P's.
Yeah.
I had a shitty car accident, set me back a good amount of money and dumb mistake. And like from then on, I was anxious in the car, right? Every single time I would be in the car, because I'm like, well, it could happen any time, right? But then as I kept going, I had that prior proof, or it didn't happen yesterday, it didn't happen the day before that. In my whole entire driving, it's only happened once out of the year I've been driving,
Exactly,
you know? So, and fast forward to now, like I'm not really anxious.
Don't think about it too much when you're in the car.
Yeah, but it still comes up here and there.
100%.
It's just like any sort of condition or any sort of event, it's always going to come up and be there. Like if you're grieving someone, it's always going to be there. But, you know,
it kind of slowly goes away
each day.
Yeah, I'm going to put it in perspective.
Yeah.
You know, I've always, that was one thing I was told, which actually did resonate with me. You got to put it into perspective.
Yeah.
You know, it was a freak accident.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen too often to people. But you got to think, like it's 100%. It's changed me, and it's led me on a completely different path in life.
Yeah.
But I'm happy with that. Like I'm happy with the person I've turned out to be.
Yeah.
So you just got to look at it that angle. You can't always be down on yourself and say, oh, you know, I wish that didn't happen, or I wish I could have done this differently, I wish I could have done that, like, you know, didn't skateboard that day, or, you know, all these things you can go through your head and say, I wish I didn't do that. But as a result of that, I guess I can look back and say, well, it actually made me potentially stronger with my mates who are like my current mates right now, because they've been able to help me. And it's probably made me, you know, a lot more mature in myself, a lot more independent. And it's allowed me to find out things about myself I probably didn't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known.
That's amazing.
If that didn't happen to me.
If it didn't happen. So,
yeah. I found out a lot about myself and who I truly am.
Yeah.
Because of that. Yeah. Because of what I went through. Whereas if I didn't, I'd probably still be just this naive person.
Yeah.
A 19-year-old thinking they can take on anything, nothing will happen to them.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Yeah, it's definitely taught me a lot about myself.
That's powerful.
And
it's great.
Yeah, who I am and what I can do and what I can overcome.
Yeah. So it's like, it's not like you're welcoming stuff like that, but it's just a good learning moment. Yeah, because like you said, if you didn't have that moment, you might not have this perspective that you have now. I guess this gratefulness, and then the closer bond that you have with your mates. Yeah. Like that, because of something bad that's happened.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like there's even still days where I really am down on myself, probably not because of that specific reason, but because I've talked to them about things in the past, they're able to really help me know what I need and know what I need to talk about without even asking me, kind of thing.
That's good.
Because they've helped me in the past with that specific incident.
Yeah.
They know exactly what I need to talk about. They know pretty much why without even telling them that I'm sad. So yeah, 100%. It's made me a lot closer with my mates as well, and my family as well.
Yeah.
Probably not so much my sisters because they kind of just check out. But I'd say definitely mum and dad were really supportive through it. Probably didn't understand it as much because they just wanted their son to get back to what he was doing. Loving footy, loving school, loving his mates, loving being an energetic kid. They kind of wanted me to get back to what I was doing. Which at the time they were 100% just doing what they thought was the best thing for me. But obviously, looking back, everyone could have done things differently. But it's made the event or the accident in general, just completely changed my perspective on life in a way that probably wouldn't have happened if it didn't happen.
Because you probably, they were probably trying to help you to get back to where you used to be, but it's like, I'm actually just trying to move forward and get to an even better place.
Yeah.
You know, because you're like going along this way and then the accident happens, but then that road kind of is cut off now. You need to, detour and move somewhere else. But obviously, like they can't know.
No
exactly how to deal with it.
No one can know.
Yeah. Did you how did you open that conversation when it came to your mates to start that conversation between you?
It was a tough one.
Yeah.
It was a really tough one. Because at the time, they were the mates that I kind of pushed away. Because after it, they were my really close mates. They still are my close mates to this day.
Yeah.
They were the ones I kind of pushed away. Just kind of pushed away everyone. So it was really hard for me to then go and say, actually, no, I need your help, when I just pushed them away. And by pushing them away, I don't mean I'm not saying that I'd said, you can't be my mates anymore. Kind of just like not talking to them, kind of isolating myself.
Yeah.
So it was really, really tough for me to come and say, guys, I actually need your help. I need to talk about some few things. Or there was one night, especially, I can remember, that it was really, really bad one night. And I said, I might have been 12 o'clock on a weekday, and I just walked out of the house. I was going down to the beach, and I was I had the intention of just not coming back. It really built up that much. So I was I just can't deal with this anymore. And I called my mate, and his name's Marcus. I called him and I said, "Oh mate, I'm really not doing well." And he talked me through, and I just went home. So I have have so many people in my life I have to thank just helping me.
Yeah.
And that was such a strong memory for myself.
Yeah.
That was a really powerful memory that lives on with me still, and that was really just kind of a defining moment in myself to say, you can get through this. There are people who can help you.
Yeah.
You don't have to isolate and shut yourself off.
Yeah.
There are people who want to help you.
Yeah.
So that was a really important moment for me, I guess.
Yeah, to know how loved you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, even just one person that you called.
And
then they talk you through that. That's huge.
Yeah, it was nice. And I thank you most days. Not specifically for it, but I just say thank you for being a great mate.
Yeah.
But it was it was allowing myself to see that you don't have to isolate yourself. You don't have to deal with yourself, even though I did for a long period of time. And looking back, it was probably the worst decision I made.
Yeah.
Trying to deal with myself. That's what I always did with things that happened to me. I try to deal with it myself.
Yeah.
I like to internalize things, like to just put on this happy smiley face and pretend it's okay when it kind of wasn't.
Yeah.
And I did that for a long time after. But then once I finally said, I can't do this myself, I need other people to help me. Just the support that was we're here to help you, we've been here the whole time.
Yeah.
It was really overwhelming, and the care and the support system that I had was really overwhelming. It was really obviously nice to see, and it was amazing the people that came to see we're here to help you.
Yeah. And I think what held you back from even talking to them is because did you think they wouldn't really understand, or like you said, that you think they wouldn't understand it, but have you found that it's not about them understanding it, it's just about them knowing what's going on?
Yeah.
They probably will never understand, and hopefully they never understand. Is it been good? Yeah, it's probably much easier to just let them know of it instead of trying to make them understand it.
Yeah, I think the best thing was for me to understand that they don't have, as you said, they don't have to understand it. But for me, it was more just getting it off my chest.
Yeah.
Because it was all playing in my head, and there was just so many things going on. Where if I would say it to someone or explain to someone or tell someone, it would just instant relief. You've got it off your chest, it's out there. That was probably the most important thing for me to realize, that people don't have to understand.
Yeah.
Just as long as someone's there to listen to you.
Yeah.
Be able to tell it's going to be okay, or try and give their best opinions. That's all that really mattered to me, I guess. Because that's what I found most helpful, when people just listened, rather than try and tell me this is what I need to do, or that's what I need to do, or this is the way you can deal with it. Just kind of just listen.
Yeah.
And kind of just say, it's going to be okay, it's going to be all right. And even if it wasn't going to be all right, it was kind of just a calming influence on me that it's going to be okay, like you're going to be all right, you're going to get through this. Yeah, so I think, my best mates were really good with that. My ex-girlfriend was amazing.
Yeah.
She was amazing for me. She just listened all the time. But I just have to thank those people because, like, they didn't even. I didn't even need to ask them if they wanted to listen. I just started talking, and they would just listen. Yeah. And they'd be so empathetic. They'd try and put themselves in my shoes if they couldn't really do it. And sometimes just a hug after. It's so warming. It's so calming. Like, I remember there'd be so many times I would be talking to my ex and just say, like, this is going on. And I'd never really cried in front of someone. Yeah. I'd never really cried in someone, like, truly broke down and cried. And there was one time where I just kind of broke down, and I was having one of those days and everything was coming back and really stressed and really depressed. And I just broke down and cried because I just told her everything, because I've really spoken to people about the incident. And I told her everything. I just started breaking down and crying. And she just hugged me, and it was the most relieving and warming feeling that I'd ever felt. And I was like, this is the kind of support going forward that I kind of needed. Yeah. So she was amazing in that. But it was amazing to see the support system and care that was already there without me knowing it. I just needed to tap into it. Yeah.
And that points to even more of, like, how this accident helped you see even more of your world. Like, you start to see even more how loved you are, how people, like, would fucking, like, take a bullet for you type of thing. Like, people really, like, people love you, like, but you don't realize that until maybe, like, your lowest moments. But it should be at your highest moments as well. It should be just for whenever. Like,
it was something that was really challenging. Again, it challenged me to see that, like, I didn't, like, people were always there for me. I just didn't realize it. And it was, when I got to those lowest of lows, I kick myself every day for just saying, like, it was all right there. Everything was there just to help you. Like, you didn't have to do it alone, which I did, and it sucked. Yeah. But I didn't have to do it by myself. And that's why I try and, like, when people who come to me and say, like, I'm really upset, really depressed, or I'm feeling stressed, anxious, I just say to them, all the pieces are around you. Yeah. You just need to tap into it. Like, family, friends, football teams. Yeah. Aunties, uncles, whoever. It's professional help. It's all around you. You don't have to deal with it yourself. Yeah. Because dealing with this, 9 times out of 10, you won't feel better. You just don't win in the end against whatever battle you're fighting by yourself. You can't do it. You need other people around you. It's like in anything, if you're trying to go for a promotion or a job or trying to do something else in your life, you need other people behind you to push you or to help you. Yeah. Of course. So it was tough for me at the time because I just thought no one would understand and no one would really get me. But being able to tap into that circle of people around me was probably the best decision I ever made, and it's probably the reason why I'm here. Yeah. How's your experience been with footy since everything? Because obviously you had your lower moments after the accident. Yeah. You were just trying to get back to where you were, and you were doing really well. Like, you were kind of peaking, like, before the accident. How is that kind of getting back into form? I'd say football after that point was never the same. Yeah. It was kind of like that important time in kind of Swans and potential making AFL lists and everything. Was kind of like that's where you needed to peak. Yeah. And that's why I was starting to peak at that time, and then obviously the accident happened. I kind of just missed my window. Yeah. I guess so. It was really tough. Yeah. So I kind of dedicated my whole life to making that and living out my childhood dream, and for that not to happen because of this, it was tough. It was a really hard pill to swallow. Yeah. One little freak accident just kind of turns your life upside down, kind of. Yeah. In terms of living out your dream.
Childhood dream,
Um,
Wow.
But yeah, in terms of, I think now I'm kind of just playing footy for the love of it. Obviously still trying to play a really good brand of footy. But it's kind of shifted from, playing at the elite level, which I still do train with the Swans and everything, but it's kind of like transitioning into just playing for the love of the game. Because after the accident, I kind of pushed away everything, including football. And I fell really out of love with the game. Didn't want to play it. Didn't want to even go near it. Wanted to quit actually after. Didn't want anything to do with it. Because of the external pressure that I had to go back to being what I was doing prior to the incident. And when I couldn't, the pressure started to mount, and the questions were being asked, is he good enough? Or what should he even be in the Swans anymore? Because everyone again thought I was fine on the outside, and because I was able to run and kick again, I'm fine. Whereas they couldn't understand really that I was still miles back mentally. But because it was all just had to get back to it, had to get back to being the old Harry. I had to push myself beyond what I was capable of. So it was at the time, in terms of football after it, was really, really difficult because form was completely out of the window. I wasn't playing well. And it was tough because you dedicated your whole life to it.
I know how hard you work, man. I always see you, if I'm ever in Cronulla, I see you doing your runs and I see you doing all sorts of stuff. I know how hard you work. You know how hard you work.
Exactly. And you make a lot of sacrifices along the journey. A lot of decisions that, I could have made to take me down another path I didn't make because I wanted to focus on football and it just when it happened, it was so frustrating. It was just so disappointing, and there was nothing I could do about it because I kind of just blamed myself. I was like, "This is your fault. You've done this to yourself." And that's again probably led into its way into the whole depression and the downhill cycle that was from there. So it was really, really tough.
You know what? We're more alike than you think. When I was dealing with mine was, I guess, different. My exit from Swans and my realization that I wasn't gonna get to that dream of mine when I was a kid. That was everything I worked for, and put my heart and soul into it, right? But what kind of led me out of it was just a lot of anxiety that I had at the time, overthinking everything, and that didn't help me on the field at all. It made me overthink everything I did on the field. And so form would drop, and guys were growing way more than me, and I just felt like I was falling behind and all this stuff, all this shit. And then so I didn't make the cut for Swans, and then from then, that's part of actually what sent me down a bit of a spiral, mental health wise, and then everything kind of came to a crash in 2019. But that was when I was 15 or 16. That shit broke me. Not knowing that I was well, fuck, that's my dream and I won't be able to really live that out. And so you're forced to kind of dream again. You gotta pick yourself up and find another dream to pursue. But I'm pretty similar. But you can dream again is I guess the point I'm trying to make. And
100%.
And I'm sure you will find something else to put that ambition and that hard work into, because you're a hard worker, you're ambitious, you're a high performer, right? And so you will find that, if you, I don't know if you've already found it, but you will find that. And I think it's kind of as well realizing that you don't have to take everything in life so seriously. That's true.
For a long period of time, everything I do, I had to be the best at it. I had to do it to be the best, or I had to do it to win, or I had to do it so it was perfect. And I did that for so long because I just had all these expectations and this mindset that you just have to do everything perfect, or you have to do everything so you can win. And it's kind of taken me a long time to realize and sit back and say, no, you don't have to do everything perfect. You don't you don't have to put all that pressure on yourself. Even this year, the team we've got for our St. George team is amazing. We're so tight, all of us boys. that's probably representing the way we're playing on the field. Like we're winning, we're 16 on the trot.
Yeah.
With winning. So because we've all got that mentality where it's like if you make a mistake, it's okay. Like you don't have to beat yourself up for it. There'd be times in Swans where I would make a mistake and I would kind of go into my shell because like there was one incident where because I was still afraid of head knocks and everything, I didn't put my head over the ball for one incident, and the guy kind of picked up, spun around me, kicked a goal, and I was like, taken off instantly. And Runner came out and said, Harry, you're off. And I was like, oh fuck. And you'd be running off and you'd be getting all the looks and saying, what was that? Like, what was that effort? You couldn't tell them, like, just just didn't see the ball, you had to make some sort of bullshit.
Yeah.
But you kind of, I went back into my shell. And it was really hard because I'd always done everything to be perfect or the 1% or to win or be the best, whatever. And I couldn't do that. And it took me a long time to realize that I don't need to be the best. I don't have to be perfect as long as I'm enjoying what I'm doing and enjoying the people that I'm with. That's all I need to worry about really. And it's probably represented this year or reflected this year because I'm playing the best I've ever played this year.
Fuck yeah.
So it's been a change in mindset, but it's been one that's well overdue.
Yeah.
So it's been good to see on the field.
Yeah. Oh man, that's huge. That's all it's about. Like I did a little podcast like a month ago, and just like reminding yourself like why you're here. Like you're here to enjoy yourself. You can't take everything so seriously. Like you could have made it to like where you wanted it to be in footy, like play professionally, right? And you'd still be battling yourself because you didn't get that or you didn't get that. And you'd have your own pressures, and then you'd have media pressures and coach pressures and fans and all that shit. Like you never know. Like so I guess if you with anything that you want to do, it'd be good if it came from like a place of enjoyment first. But like I know you love it, like
well it took me a long time to realise that I actually do love it. Because I was always, for a long period of time, I was kind of only there because I was good at it. I was always the better one in the team and then when I got into Swans it was always it was really competitive in a tight cutthroat environment. If you're not performing, you're out. Someone's better than you, they're in, you're out. So it was really, really cutthroat, and it kind of lost my enjoyment for the game and why I was actually playing it. So it kind of took me, I'm still playing, I'm still training with the Swans, like that's still there, but it's kind of a new mindset where it's like you're here just to enjoy yourself. Like, you don't have to take everything so literal and so serious. Like, if you miss a kick at training, just get the next one right. Don't beat yourself about that one, just get the next one right. Or if you miss the next one after that, just get the next one after that right. But don't beat yourself up because of a missed kick, or don't beat yourself up because you slipped a tackle. Like, people make mistakes, and it's okay to make mistakes, and it's okay to learn from those mistakes. So it's a completely different mindset this year, and it's one that's obviously been helpful. So
and do you find not that it doesn't, the performance part again doesn't matter, it's about whether you're enjoying yourself. But I'm curious, like, do you feel, actually, like you said, you're playing your best footy you've played, and but you're going in with the mindset that I'm just going to enjoy it. So it is working.
It is, and it's good to see because I'd say last year, obviously COVID and everything was last year and the year before. But earlier days it was kind of really hard because I probably was a bit undersized and a bit small and a bit slower than everyone else. And I was always a very talented kick and a very good hand passer, and also technical skills, but in terms of actual impact in the game, I was a bit too small. And, a bit slow, wasn't competitive enough with the ball, and then building up towards when I was peaking just before the accident, I went to the gym just pretty much the whole summer. I just didn't hang out with friends, didn't go to any parties, didn't do any of that. Just went, alright, I'm going to dedicate my whole summer, this whole 6-month pre-season just eating better. And I think, well, thank God, because I think I grew about 8 centimeters. I grew heaps. I think I put on about 8 or 9 kilos as well. I completely changed my body. And that's when I really started to peak, because I just dedicated that whole time to getting better. And then obviously when the accident happened, again, it was hard. And because I had that mentality where I had to be the best, and I had to put in that 1%, and I had to do everything to win. And then obviously that happening after, I couldn't do that because I wasn't the same person anymore, wasn't the same player. Yeah, again, probably wasn't the best mindset to have at the time. So a mindset I needed to change. Like I had to change that mindset, otherwise I just wasn't going to get any better as a footballer or a person.
Yeah.
As a just a person in society, I wasn't going to get any better with myself. So
yeah.
I've taken that mindset from football as well into everyday life.
Yeah.
You don't have to take everything so seriously. And it's okay to make mistakes in life. And you know, obviously there's still tons of mistakes. Like the other night I was at a party and I made I wouldn't say a mistake, I was just trying to be the right person in the moment, but I made a mistake. And it hurt my best mate in the moment, and I just had to say, look mate, I'm sorry. Like it wasn't, I was just trying to do the right thing. And in the moment I had to like remind myself of that mindset that I don't have to take everything so seriously. I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to be perfect. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to, you know, say sorry. It's okay to make up for your mistakes. You don't have to beat yourself up because you made a mistake. Yeah. Which I would have done in the past. If I made a mistake, I would have been, oh, like, you know, shit, I'm the worst person ever. Yeah. I did this to him. I can't believe I did that to him. But you know, it's nowadays when that happened, it was for myself, okay, like yeah, you made a mistake, explain it to him, explain why it happened, you know, try and put it from your perspective and, you know, from his perspective as well, rather than just beat myself up and be like, oh, you're the worst person ever, Harry, you did your best mate, like, your dog, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's translated from football into everyday life. That's good. That football, mindset. Yeah. That mindset, you don't have to be the best, you don't have to try and please everyone, you don't have to try and do everything to the 1% to the nth degree. As long as you're happy and the people around me are happy, that's what matters. Yeah, it's amazing what footy can teach. It's just a game, but just a game. And that's the best mindset to think about it. Exactly. But yeah, it is just a game, and it's amazing what it can teach. Like, I think, you know, years down the line, you'll be. I mean, you know, you'll continue to play footy because you enjoy it, and you'll just continue to be grateful for how it leaks into the rest of all, like, in your career and like relationships and stuff like that. Like all that stuff's gonna like develop. Yeah. Just naturally, I guess. Yeah, naturally, yeah, because you have this thing right here that you can just learn from. It's a great flow-on effect. Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing what it can do. Yeah. And like you meet lifelong friends. Oh, 100%. And that stuff, that stuff doesn't go away. And especially if you win a flag together and shit like that. That's the flag, it's 22. That's a fucking goal. We've kind of like got the group chat going. Yeah. Everyone's like every weekend we're out somewhere and we get some random person to hold up like flag and tweet to us all that. I'm pretty sure it was like on the weekend I was working with a mate of my team, Jordy Marin, working at Northies. And you work at Northies? Yeah. Fuck, we gotta talk about that. Yeah. So we were working, and it was really funny because like all the boys were at I forgot where they were. One of the boys was getting with someone. It was so funny because I think Jordan Carey was holding a thing on his phone saying flag in his phone over his head, and everyone's pointing to it, and everyone's like rubbing their head and everything. But nah, it's amazing. Yeah, like the lifelong friends you can develop from the game and the club, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it. Yeah. And to get with that mindset, like taking a step back and seeing life in a bigger picture. Yeah. Like, you know, football is not always going to be around forever. Yeah. But mates will, hopefully. Yeah. So it's amazing just to step back and say, you know, enough about football, or, you know, continue to focus on the football in terms of winning and everything. But look at the mates and look at the people here. Like, you know, there's some amazing people here and amazing people I have a lot of fun with. So yeah, that's again another change in mindset, which has been really good for me this year. Yeah, it's when you're talking about like making those mistakes and like getting harsh on yourself and like you make those mistakes. It's like before you used to be like, oh, mistakes are. You started to think like the mistakes are a representation of like you. Or like the best part of you, because like you think they're the best representation of you. Yeah. But really they're just a representation of like just you being
human. Like,
yeah, and that's
you
something.
being fucking, like, having faults. And
Yeah, and that's something I didn't realize for a long time.
Yeah.
Because I'd say of the expectations put on me by just people around me, I guess, you know, because I was always doing really well at school and footy, and I had always lots of friends, and it always just, I was kind of like just always pushed to be the best I can, which is nothing wrong with that. Like, I thank everyone for pushing me to be the best I can, but it kind of instilled this mindset in me, like, if I make a mistake, it's like, world's over.
Yeah.
Like, you make a mistake. Like, I, Harry Parker, could not make a mistake.
Yeah.
And that's just what it was. And it was a really tough mindset to live with. Because when I did make a mistake, it's like, how do I deal with it? I didn't know how to deal with it. And then, you know, it all kind of built up after the accident. I was making lots of mistakes after it happened, because, you know, couldn't walk, couldn't do anything.
Cognitively, you weren't
much, you know,
functioning yet.
Couldn't even write a page essay.
Wow.
And it really impacted me, because I was just like, Harry Potter can't make mistakes. Like, what am I doing?
Right.
So yeah, it was definitely the change in mindset from going from you can't make a mistake to if you make a mistake, it's really better, because you learn from that mistake.
Yeah.
And you can just keep growing and maturing.
You don't really learn shit from
being perfect, or trying to be perfect.
Trying to be perfect, or like the success, or like
It's a mixture of just being able to, with everything that's happened in my life, being able to just let things go.
Yes, yeah, right.
And not allowing things that, you know, don't mean that much to me, or things that used to mean a lot to me, or things that shouldn't really be a focus point in my life anymore, impact me in a way that I hurt people closest to me.
Okay.
So there's been a few times recently and not recently where there's been things that, like, haven't been in the greater scheme of life, I shouldn't have cared about.
Yeah.
Or I shouldn't have let affect me. But it did.
Yeah.
And I then made decisions, or then there was a reaction that actually hurt the people closest to me. And it was just a change for me to realize that you don't have to care about everything. You don't have to let everything be perfect.
Yeah.
You don't have to try and control everything to where it becomes perfect. Like, things aren't gonna go my way, or they're gonna be things that are gonna hurt me. They're things that are gonna be challenging for me to get over or to let go. But I just had to realize that I had to. I had to let those things go in order to move on and just be a better person for not only myself, but for, like, my family, and probably more than anything, my mates. Yeah. Because they've been through a lot with me, and they've put up with a lot of shit from me. There's been times where it's like, you know, if they weren't, I would have said to them, you know, you don't have to be my mate anymore. Like, the stuff I put you through, you don't have to do this. Like, they've been like, nah, I'll stick with you, which has been amazing. But there was, I think, when was it? A couple of weeks ago. There was something that I shouldn't have let hurt me, but it did, and I knew it was coming, and it hurt me a lot. And I'd made no plan for it, and I kind of not planned for it, but I expected it to come, and I knew it was going to hurt me. But it did, and it hurt me like anything. Like, to this, like, right now, like, it just hurt. And I had a reaction that kind of hurt my best mate at the time. Well, he's not best mate, but at the time it hurt him a lot. And it sucked for me, because I shouldn't have let that hurt me. Yeah. Right. And I shouldn't have had that effect on me, but it did. Yeah. And there was nothing that I didn't expect. I completely expected it to happen. Yeah. I had the reaction that it hurt him, and he didn't talk for me a couple of days. Yeah. And I was like, what's wrong? He's like, you did this, and you knew it should be coming, but then you did something that hurt me instead. And I was like, mate, I am so sorry. And that really kind of, like, for the last couple of weeks, it's been kind of like really hard on me. Yeah. So I was like, Harry, you have to just let it go. You can't let things from your past impact you in a way that hurts the people who are close to you right now. Yeah, because they're the ones that matter. They're the ones that matter. Not the past. No, it's definitely not. Yeah. And it's not saying that I'm not saying that things from my past I don't have a care for and interest for. Oh yeah. Like, 100% do. It's just, at that time, I shouldn't I can't let things from my past that aren't as close to me anymore impact the people who are closest to me right now. Because they're the ones that are with me right now, dealing with everything that I have to go through right now. It was really hard because I really, really beat myself up for it.
Yeah.
And I really, really kind of just like brought all those emotions back from everything in my past, like the accident, everything that's going on. And it kind of just all brought those emotions really, really back. And I was like, oh shit, here we go again.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to fall down the rabbit hole again.
Yeah.
But thankfully I didn't. Thankfully I've matured and know how to deal with myself this time.
That's good. Yeah.
But
so that's the building right there.
Exactly, it is. But yeah, it was at the time, it was really disappointing in myself because I knew that what was going to happen was going to hurt me. And I obviously prepared for it. And it was just, it was disappointing at the time that I allowed myself to be hurt by something I knew was going to hurt me from my past. That made me make a decision or reaction that would hurt my best mate. But, and again, like it all brought those emotions and everything from not even like the same incident or past, just brought all the emotions and everything back. But it was good this time around that I knew how to deal with it. Yeah. And I knew, because of what's happened to me before, I knew how to, respond and how to properly, within myself, navigate it. Yeah. Or try to, at least.
Try.
I'm still trying to. I still think about what happened that night, and it's no one's fault. Nothing. Yeah. But it's still hard for me to try and navigate that. But I'm not gonna get it right 100% of the time in terms of navigating it properly. I'm gonna, call upon my mates and call on my family to look at me and talk. This has really been bugging me. But yeah, it was good within myself to see that I could probably handle stuff now, whereas in the past I really couldn't, and I needed other people. Whereas this time, even though I did call upon a few people to help me, it was relieving within myself that I could deal with it myself mostly. And that was, again, what you're saying, the building blocks. It kind of like, as you mature and go through different things in life that impact you, it's all a building block. You get better from each one, and you know within yourself how to deal with it. So I'd say out of the whole incident, that was probably the most pleasing thing to see within myself. That I could deal with it properly after and not just fall back into that rabbit hole, which I was dreading I would. But it was good to see within myself that I could probably deal with stuff. Yeah,
like you are more like independent than you think, or like you can, manage the things that are at hand. And also, like, there's even things that you don't even need to like quote handle. Like they can just kind of pass by, because you know that those, like, say if you get like maybe like anxious, overthinking thoughts, stuff like that, maybe in social situations or stuff like that, and like you said, learning to let go of the things that really don't matter right now. So if those thoughts come through, you really don't need to handle them. Like, they can just be like, okay, they're there.
A passing by thing.
Yeah, just like passing by. Like, they're just like,
that's good. I've never heard that one before.
Yeah, it's like a cool thing that my coach has shared. It's like, you just treat it like it's kind of like clouds in the sky. It's kind of like you're just sitting here and you see a cloud in the sky, and you're not going to be like, oh fuck, I gotta
take notice of it.
I gotta do something about it. I gotta go to a meteorologist and get them to take care of it. Like, it's just a cloud. Doesn't really mean anything. It might mean impending rain, or it might mean this, but it doesn't really mean anything right now, because right now it's just sitting there,
just doing the same thing.
And it's gonna pass by. It's gonna go over there to where you're not even gonna see it anymore. So just kind of sit there, just like, okay, cool, I'll let it pass by. Because there's certain thoughts that you can let pass by, but there's certain ones you can't ignore at the end of the day, and like that's the difficult thing to navigate. But you found what you can navigate, or like you found that you can navigate.
Can partially do it. But it was good to see that I could even do it in the first place. And not just automatically fold back into my shell. And go back into that rabbit hole and just whatever that leads to. It was good that I could try and be on the front foot about it. Try and be proactive and say, that really did hurt me. And it really did bring all these emotions back within myself. But instead of just going into my shell and leading to whatever that would lead to, it was good that I could be on the front foot and be proactive about it within myself and say, you know, it's going to be like, you can talk to people about it. And as you said, like, you know, the cloud passing by mentality, I like that.
Yeah, I like that. Hopefully that helps.
No, yeah, 100%. I'm going to start using that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good one. And I guess that's what I subconsciously tried to do without even using your analogy.
Yeah, you try to do it, yeah.
Just, you know, it's there.
Yeah.
I know it's there, and it's there.
Yeah.
But I don't have to take notice of it, or I don't have to pay really close attention to it.
Yeah.
Just let it pass by and let it float into a point where I can't see anymore.
Yeah, and then it's over there.
It's just
actually need to worry about it.
That's a good one.
Until next time, I guess. And
Exactly, yeah.
This is
Same thing again.
repeats. Yeah. With who like you were seeing, like are you still seeing that person like headspace?
Yeah.
And how was that like?
Yeah, so
experience just to get it out.
I saw them for a couple months.
Yeah.
Probably in late 2020. And they were amazing. They were fantastic. And I saw them in conjunction with my school counsellor at the time as well. So I went to my school counsellor first, and then she kind of helped me through a few sessions, and then she kind of pointed me in the direction of Headspace. And they were amazing. They were fantastic. Even though I love my best mates and I love talking to them, it's a clear difference between talking to them and a professional. They kind of know the questions to ask, the advice to give, the techniques.
Yeah.
So I was really, really grateful that I was able to see them, and that the school as well at the time were really understanding about, you know, if I missed a class, that's where I was, or if I couldn't do sport, that's where I was. So they were really, really on board with it, which I was grateful for.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a really good decision within myself to go see someone externally and privately, which was at the time I was unsure about, because there was all this, even though we're trying to break down that stigma, that social stigma around mental health, whatever. Yeah. And it was kind of my first time dealing with something really like that. I was still unsure really how I'd be viewed, so I kind of kept it private. I didn't really tell anyone. Say, what are you doing? And I was like, no, I'm a fucking dentist.
Yeah, right.
So I'd always say that because I was just unsure how I'd be viewed.
Yeah, I mean that's okay.
And I kind of really hadn't told him, or I haven't really told anyone that I really went to go see those people, except for the people closest to me. But yeah, nowadays, I mean, it's awesome that the stigma around it's being broken down. They know it's okay to be not okay. It's like, you know, the injury, you got a broken arm, go see a doctor. Yeah. You have depression or anxiety or those not so good feelings, I guess, mentally, you can say the same thing, go see a doctor. Yeah. So
it's crazy how that it's so different in mental health though.
I don't understand that. I don't understand that. But yeah.
Injured, you go see a doctor, but when you're not feeling well, you maybe don't see a psychologist or
it's one that now, well, at the time I didn't know, at the time I was unsure about how I'd be viewed, or, you know, if I was not doing the cool thing, or if I was, you know, whatever all that stigma was around it. But now it's like, I would tell anyone, if you all have those feelings, you have those thoughts, you go see someone, 100%.
It's like, it's powerful when it's shared with more people.
100%.
Even when you mentioned that stuff about not getting hung up on yourself about mistakes that you make just at footy training, or just like mistakes you make in general. Like, I fucking needed that, because I get hung up on myself if I miss a kick, miss a handball, or miss a tackle or some shit. And then it causes me to like try to fall into a shell. And the only thing that helps me get out of that shell is if I do something cool. But it shouldn't be like that.
It shouldn't be like that.
It shouldn't put you in a shell in the first place. It's just a mistake.
Yeah.
You know? So,
and that's with everything. Like, you know, obviously I made mistakes on the football field as well, but then off the field as well. Like, you know, in past relationships, I've obviously made mistakes. And, you know, and I kind of beat myself about that heaps. Like, you know, if I did this differently, you know, that could have happened. If I did this differently, you know, a different outcome could have happened. But I always have the mindset now, it's like, it's a mixture of it is what it is. And everything in life happens for a reason. Everything in life happens for a reason. Like, you can't beat yourself up for a mistake, or you can't let those emotions grip you because of a mistake. You just have to say, it is what it is, or, like, you know, everything in life happens for a reason. Like, someone came into your life for a reason, someone came out of your life for a reason. You made a team for a reason, you came out of a team for a reason. So it's kind of like every trajectory and every course in life will have its reason, and whether you jump off one into another or vice versa, it has its reason. You just got to trust the process.
Yeah.
So you can't really beat yourself up or allow yourself to get into these emotions, or beat yourself up about not making a team, or beat yourself up about losing a person.
Yeah.
Or you just have to say it is what it is, and be grateful for what you have and not take anything in life for granted, really.
Yeah.
So
I guess with that being said, is there anything else that you, for anyone in a similar situation to you those years back, and just in general, any piece of advice that you would share for anyone like yourself just trying to navigate this life thing?
I would say for certainty, don't isolate yourself. Even though you feel like the world's against you and you feel like your whole world's crashing down, don't isolate yourself. Try and reach out. I know it's hard. For me, it was hard. It was terribly hard.
Yeah.
But don't isolate yourself. I think is the best one. Try and reach out. Try and see if people can talk to you, your friends, your family, because they're always there. You might not think they're there, but they're always there.
Yeah.
And I think the other one as well is don't take everything in life so seriously. It's okay to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Don't beat yourself up about it, and don't allow yourself to, I'll use the analogy again, fall in the rabbit hole because of a little mistake. Because once you're in that hole, it's really hard to get out.
Yeah.
So
it's really hard. Yeah.
Exactly. So don't beat yourself up because of a mistake, and don't take life too seriously. And
yeah. You're saving a life by doing that. Your own life. You're saving
exactly.
yourself by doing that. I like that. That's a good way to transition it. Obviously, man, thank you so much for coming on. Me. You did really well.
Thanks.
It is a daunting thing to sit down and talk about this stuff, but you articulate yourself really well, and I can see you're on a really good path, or you're moving forward. That's the best thing about any sort of mistakes. I can see you really moving forward, and you're enjoying things. So it's good to see, and
awesome.
I'm very happy you're doing well and
Thanks,
things
mate.
are moving forward. And obviously, thank you for watching or listening. Please feel free to jump on if you'd like to, and hope you have a good day.